What's up guys, Alex here from the Tail Monkeys, and in this video I'm going to show you a full training recap of the week of last week, show you a few pulls from our practice, and then go over all my in the gym training for arm wrestling and everything else. So I'm now currently 7 weeks out from my next tournament, which is going to be the Arm Melter in Brockville. Super pumped for that because it should be triple elimination, so should get a lot of pulls in. But I'm going to do a training recap each week leading up to the competition, show you how I'm feeling, how my lifts are doing, and show you how I get ready for competition. So these are a few pulls from practice from the week prior. I got some left-handed pulls with Anthony, who's number 3 in Ontario, left-handed at 198. And I'm doing okay with him. You know, I can't expect to beat him. I've never really been able to beat him in practice beyond a couple lucky pulls. So my hand felt good with him. It's just the arm strength that obviously he dominates me in, and I'm still coming back from an injury, so the arm strength isn't there just yet. Right hand is always like back and forth in terms of how it feels inside. Sometimes feels good, sometimes doesn't. Most of the time I'm just top rolling, so you'll see a bit of both. I'm going to pull Mike in the second here, and then John. John is basically my kryptonite. It's really hard for me to do anything with him unless it's a ready-go situation. His hand is just too much for me to slow top roll, and I don't really like going inside with him, so yeah, but he's definitely a good test to see where I'm at. So hopefully I can start doing better with him as I get close to the competition. And then as for my training, so I'm currently arm wrestling once a week, every Saturday. Then Sunday is a rehab focused day, so I'm just trying to make myself feel better after arm wrestling practice. So that's typically just antagonist work, which would be, so antagonist in terms of to arm wrestling. So if arm wrestling is a lot of elbow flexion, then I'm doing elbow extension. If it's wrist flexion, then I'm doing wrist extension. If it's internal rotation, then I'm doing external rotation. So what does that mean? I don't actually have any clips of me doing rehab work from this time, but tricep work, it's external rotation work, it's wrist extension work. Doing a lot of that on the day after. I like doing JM presses, dumbbell or barbell wrist extensions, and then either a band for some external rotation or some face pulls with a cable. And then Monday is kind of a rest day. It's no heavy gym training, but I do start my arm wrestling specific stuff. And so I will usually just do 3 sets of 30-ish reps of cup, rise, pronation, and supination. And I might do 1 set of finger curls and wrist extensions after that. And then Tuesday will be, that's all I'm doing on Monday, mostly just resting. Tuesday, I start my heavy gym training, so I do legs on Tuesday, still giving my body some rest after the practice, a bit more time to heal. I'll do another arm wrestling specific day. Wednesday will be pull day, plus arm wrestling stuff. And then Thursday, the final gym day, will be push and more gym stuff. So pull is obviously back and biceps, and then push is chest, shoulders, and triceps. And obviously arm wrestling stuff on that day. And then Friday is the rest day. So here we are with leg day, Tuesday. I've already done my rehab day on Sunday and my first arm wrestling specific day on Monday. I just didn't get it filmed. So I started with deadlifts. I was doing 455 for sets of 3 pause there. I know you guys don't care about legs too much, but hey, I train legs. I think you should too. Become a well-rounded, athletic human. Feels good to train legs. The ladies love it, and yeah, it's just another thing you can do in the gym where you can push hard and it won't impact arm wrestling training too much. So those were landmine squats. Really good alternative to a barbell squat. Basically a goblet squat because it's a front-loaded squat, so it's very quad dominant, but no strain on the back with that variation. It feels really good. Here I'm doing that was an interesting exercise. You'll see Mary doing it in the background here, a Pallof lunge, basically all core control while you're doing a lunge. This is a Bulgarian split squat, one of the most hated exercises in weightlifting. It's another leg exercise, another lunge, but single leg, very glute and quad focused. Almost everybody hates it, but feels good. And then final exercise for leg day was a single leg glute bridge. We did a lot of reps here, back and forth. I love training legs from all different angles. And so that's my leg day for Tuesday. Later in the day, I did my arm wrestling specific stuff. So here you'll see me doing wrist curls. I keep my arm wrestling stuff very specific. I don't have access to a table. So I just, as long as I'm making progress in these fundamental movements, I know it's carrying over. This is how I like to do my cupping. I try to keep my forearm as vertical as possible, and then the other hand down the ground just to support me. This way I get all the tension on my wrist from the bottom to the top. A lot of people, they rest their arm on their leg and then do wrist curls like that. If you do it that way, there's no tension at the top of the wrist curl. So it's just not a very efficient way to do your wrist curls, and you end up doing way more weight than you need to. So there, I forget what I was doing there, but maybe 35 pounds, nothing too crazy. Here I'm doing my riser work, just forearm on the knee, letting the wrist drop and bringing it back up, knuckles high. Nothing too crazy. I'll go back and forth between repetitions and then statics the next day. So I think I did miss Monday's session, because Monday's session should be what I'm doing right here, repetition work, and then Tuesday would be statics. So you'll see me do only 3 days this week. I try to get 4, but sometimes I only get 3, of going back and forth between repetition work, statics, so then repetition again, and then statics finally, so for 4 days. So right here is the repetition. I've done cup, rise, pronation. Now I'm finishing off with supination. These are all for 30 reps. Not trying to hit failure, not trying to feel any pain, just trying to get a lot of blood flow and still make incremental progress whenever I can. But it's not usually week to week. It's more like every 2 to 3 weeks here. And I do have to be careful sometimes with the cup and the supination, just dealing with pain sometimes. Okay, so that was Tuesday. I'm on to Wednesday now. This is the start of my arm wrestling specific training. I wanted to do a little shoulder work to warm up. So these are single arm planks, really focusing on driving the floor away from me. So I'm actively protracting my shoulder. I feel like protraction is a missing element in a lot of people's training. I think it really helps protect your shoulder and your elbow when you're arm wrestling. If you think about the shoulder position when you're arm wrestling, your shoulder is forward. As soon as it goes back, you have way less internal rotation, and because of that, so much more stress becomes loaded onto the elbow. So I found that sometimes when I'm arm wrestling, my shoulder will go back because my protraction is weak. And then when it goes backwards, like I'm retracting my shoulder, there's so much stress on my elbow. And that's why I haven't been able to fight inside too much. So working on my protraction with planks like that and other exercises has really helped me regain some of my inside game. So here I am doing statics. You just saw me do a cup static. Here I am doing a riser static. I believe these are for 20 seconds. So I up the weight a little bit. You see I'm doing 30 pounds on the riser, where I was only doing either 15 or 20 when I was doing repetitions the day before. Same exercises: cup, riser, pronation, and supination. And then I'll do finger curls and wrist extensions this day. So I think this is a 40 or 45 on the pronation. Pronation's been feeling good lately, getting stronger, which is great because I love top rolling more than anything. And then supination to finish. I believe this is 25 pounds. Again, 20 seconds, just holding it in place. Sometimes this can be hard for me to get into place because on my right arm, especially just because there's some pain in supination. But if I just get it locked in the right place, I can hold it and there's no pain. And I really feel like getting stronger and trying to avoid pain in this exercise is going to help my insight game a lot. I think I'm getting made fun of by other people in the gym for me doing these weird arm wrestling exercises, but I am beyond the point of giving a fuck about what people think about me when I'm doing these exercises. I just get them done. I don't care anymore. So then to finish the arm wrestling specific workouts, I'm doing finger curls here with just 75 pounds. I think 50 reps, just one set. Letting the barbell uncurl my fingers and then bringing it up and going into a slight wrist curl just to bring my wrist back to neutral. And then I will do wrist extensions with the barbell, no weights, and it's a lot harder. I think I only did 30 reps, just one set again. Really focusing here on driving up with my thumb and just keeping my fingers static. So I get a lot of extension through my thumb, which is, I can't see why that would be helpful. Okay, so then on to my real workout of the day, which was pull. Started with chin-ups, and sometimes my bicep tendon can be kind of sore from arm wrestling still on Wednesday. So I'll go overhand instead of underhand for the pull-ups. I guess those are pull-ups and not chin-ups. I always get confused. But anyway, overhand pull-ups, sets of 8 there. And then into sled power rows. These are super fun, very explosive rowing movement. I'm sure these will translate well to the table, but I have like 190 pounds on the sled here and just ripping it back. Really fun exercise. Then on to pullovers. So this is a great isolation for the lats. I'm arching my back a bit too much here. You'll see me correct it in a second. Right there. Yep, keeping my back a little bit more flat, more core control. It's a lot harder this way, but it's just a safer and more effective exercise. And then onto a wide angle dumbbell row. So I'm flaring my elbow out here. This way I can get more upper back activation. If you saw when I was doing the sled rows, I was trying to keep my elbows in tight to my body, working mainly lats. And here with the flared elbow, I'm getting more rhomboids, traps, rear delts into the game. And then finishing off with face pulls, a good external rotation exercise. This is good for your rehab days, but also just a great back strengthening exercise, and might as well throw it on pull day as well. So yeah, we did face pulls. Believe I'm doing like sets of 12 to 15 here. By the way, I do almost everything in like a strength hypertrophy rep range, like between 6 and 15. I kind of have a power building strength training program philosophy when it comes to these days. So I'm just trying to get stronger, kind of full range of motion, somewhat bodybuilding movements. I don't believe I'm quite ready for a fully arm wrestling specific weekly program, and it's also not something that I want to do right now. I like to be a bit more well-rounded with my training, more athletic. I like to do a lot of different activities right now. I'm not interested in completely diving in all into arm wrestling. I still think I'm pretty young in this sport, so I don't need to do that just yet. Anyway, that was the end of my back day. I did these curls later in the day just because I didn't have time to do it right after. 3 sets of hammer curls. I believe though that was 12 reps, and then I'm doing very light bicep curls because my bicep tendons were sore. 20 reps here. I love doing this variation, chest supported, letting my arm hang. It's a really great isolation exercise for the biceps. And yeah, I do full range. I do my partial range bicep work on the table when I'm actually arm wrestling, and then as I get closer to the competition, I'll start adding in actually more partial range bicep stuff. But I'm far out now, and I figured I would keep them full range for now. It's better for rehab and for muscle growth. So that was the end of Wednesday's session. On to Thursday. So this is going to be my push day, but I got in my arm wrestling specific stuff first. So wrist curls onto repetition work. Now I'm doing sets of 15 and 20. So these are heavier than the other repetition day. That's usually how I like to do it. So in a perfect world, the first repetition day is like sets of 30 to 40. Then I'm doing like 20-second isometrics the next day. Then I'm doing 15 to 20 repetitions on the next day. And then finally the fourth day would be like 10 to 15-second isometrics. But that fourth day didn't happen this week. So cup, riser, pronation, supination, always the same, just trying to increase the weight a little bit or increase the reps. Here I was quite happy with this. 40 pounds on the pronation for 20, I believe. So that's really coming along. I'm really trying to only use the wrists when I'm doing these exercises. So I'm pretty much resting my entire forearm on my leg. So it's really just pronation work that's working, not my my bicep or my brachialis. And then, supination here, 20 pounds, I believe, for 20 reps. I didn't get any finger curls or wrist extensions this day. I'm not sure why, or maybe I just forgot to record it. But yeah, that was my arm wrestling specific workouts. 3 sets there, and then on to push day. So I started with dumbbell incline press, sets of 8s with 80s here. I only managed 2 sets before I went down to 75s. Been happy with these. It's been progressing decently. I have been heavier before. I've been up to like 90s for 6, but it's become so hard to get them up into the right position. So yeah, I don't know how long I'll be doing dumbbell press like that. I might have to switch to barbell soon. But then into push press, I did this single arm with a dumbbell. I've been doing these the past couple weeks. It's been feeling really fun. Again, it's an explosive movement like this power row, so I think that will translate well over to arm wrestling. Trying to keep my core really tight here, don't want to arch my back. Really exploding up to the top position, full extension, and trying to hold that for a split second. Really fun exercise, definitely think you should try it out, and let me know what you think. It's just another fun shoulder exercise to do. And keeping my elbow forward here to somewhat mimic arm wrestling a bit more. And then into push-ups. Really been loving push-ups lately. I think they're a very underrated exercise. But for arm wrestling, they're really good because they put your shoulder through protraction and retraction. You get obviously a good tricep, chest, and shoulder work, and you're having to maintain really good core control if you're doing the push-ups correctly, which I'm trying to do. You're seeing my hips sag a little bit, but I'm not letting my lower back sag, which would be a big no-no. And then onto JM press. So I do JM presses on my rehab days for really light weights, lots of reps, and then I go a bit heavier here. It's not that heavy. The fall off on JM press is pretty quick for me. I'm doing 65 pounds for sets of 12 here. Really tough, but I think getting these up is really gonna help my arm wrestling career. After this, I did front delt raises and lateral raises, and then another tricep extension work with dumbbells. I just forgot to record it. But yeah, that was my entire training week. I rested the next day and then had arm wrestling practice on Saturday. And I'm gonna do these training recaps each week. If you have any questions for me, please let me know in the comments. And if you want me to go in any more detail on what my program looks like, or why I chose these exercises or why I didn't choose these ones, just let me know in the comments. And that's it. If you like the video, please like the video, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and monkeys out. Peace.